Missy Elliott. Missy Elliott's music career started with a debut album Super Duper Fly in 1997. The album had production by Timbaland and featured a mix of hip-hop, R&B, and electronic sounds. Songs like The Rain, Super Duper Fly, and Sock It To Me helped introduce her creative style, combining sharp lyrics with unusual rhythms and samples. She followed up with more albums, including The Real World, 1999, Miss E So Addictive, 2001, and Under Construction, 2002. Tracks like Get Your Freak On, 1 Minute Man, and Work It became major hits. Many of these songs had innovative beats and vocal effects, and they often included collaborations with artists like Ludacris, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé. Alongside her own albums, Elliott wrote and produced music for other artists. She worked with Aaliyah, 702, SWV, and Total, among others. She was known for combining songwriting, production, and performance across different genres. Her 5th and 6th studio albums, This Is Not a Test, 2003, and The Cookbook, 2005, included singles like Pass That Dutch and Lose Control. She continued to experiment with sounds and worked closely with Timbaland throughout much of her catalog. In 2019, she released an EP called Iconology, which included new songs after a long break. Even with newer music, she kept the same approach, blending strong beats, sharp vocals, and minimal features. Her work has influenced many artists across rap, pop, and R&B. Niko Rubio. Niko Rubio's music blends pop, alt-rock, and Latin sounds shaped by her upbringing in Southern California. She released her debut EP, Wish You Were Here, in 2021. The project introduced her alt-pop style, mixing emotional vocals with bright guitar and synth production. Tracks like Saving Me and Love Me Till You Hate Me helped establish her presence as a bilingual artist. Over time, her sound evolved. In 2022, she shifted toward incorporating her heritage into the music. That led to Mar y Tierra, a Spanish-language EP influenced by traditional Mexican and romantic Latin styles. The standout song, Serena, is a duet with Cuco that blends bossa nova with classic bolero elements. The EP reflects her goal of representing Mexican-American identity in a modern way. She followed it with Ring Ring, a 4-track EP that expands her sound further. The track Baby opens with accordion and builds into an indie pop groove. Quisiera Saber is slower, more atmospheric, and sung entirely in Spanish. Both songs balance pop structure with cultural influence. This release marked a clear shift. From experimenting with genre to fully owning her vision, Rubio's music is shaped by her experiences as a first-generation Mexican and Salvadoran American. She credits artists like Lana Del Rey, Shakira, and No Doubt for showing her how to blend personal stories with unique production. With support from Atlantic Records and collaborators like Lester Mendez, her music continues to evolve while staying grounded in her identity. NoCap. NoCap is from Mobile, Alabama, and started making music seriously in 2017. His early stuff, like Believe It and Neighborhood Hero, got people paying attention, but it was Ghetto Angels in 2019 that really made things move. That song spread fast, it was personal, and it hit. He dropped a few mixtapes after that, including The Backin' Child and The Hood Dictionary. He also worked with Rilo Rodriguez a lot, and they dropped a joint project called Rojaville. Around this time, people started noticing how he used melodies in his raps, and how much detail he put into what he was saying. In 2020, he dropped Still Human, which had features from DaBaby and Lil Uzi Vert, but NoCap still sounded like himself. He followed it up with his first full album, Mr. Crawford, in 2022. That album did well. It hit the Billboard Top 10 and had songs like Vaccine and Dangerous Girls. Then in 2024, he put out another album, Before I Disappear Again, with features from artists like Rilo, French Montana, and Quavo. A deluxe version came in 2025 with a new track featuring Rob 49. NoCap's music has always been about what he's been through. Family, loss, trying to stay focused, and he doesn't try to be anything he's not. That's why people connect with it. Noga Erez. Noga Erez is an artist from Tel Aviv who mixes electronic music with personal and sometimes heavy themes. She started off studying classical music, piano, guitar, composition, and even played in jazz and indie bands before switching to making her own electronic sound around 2012. Since then, she's built a name for herself with music that hits hard but feels honest. Her first album, Off the Radar, came out in 2017 and grabbed attention for songs that talked about privilege, fear, and social tension. Tracks like Dance While You Shoot and Pity had serious topics behind their catchy beats. But she never made music to push an agenda. It's more like she's sorting through the world in her own way. She works closely with her partner, Ori Russo, who co-produces most of her music. Their setup is tight. Her live shows are full of movement and tech, using MIDI controllers like Launchpads and Launch Control XL. It's not just a concert, it's a performance. In 2021, she dropped her second album, Kids. That project was still aware of the outside world, but it leaned more into personal stories, family, loss, growing up, and figuring yourself out. The production was still sharp and unique, but it felt closer to home. At the end of the day, Noga Erez doesn't try to fit into a category. She just makes music that reflects what she's living and seeing, and lets the audience meet her there. Nolan Taylor. Nolan Taylor writes songs that feel like sitting on a porch, telling stories with an old friend. He's from Blanchester, a small working-class town in Ohio, and his music reflects where he comes from. Real, raw, and rooted in everyday life. Growing up, things weren't easy. His mom struggled with addiction and mental health issues, so he was raised by his dad and older brother. Music was a way to process it all. He picked up a left-handed guitar in high school and never looked back. You can hear his influences in the way he plays and sings, a mix of country, bluegrass, and grunge, shaped by artists like the Grateful Dead, Pinegrove, and Nirvana. He started playing gigs around West Virginia and Kentucky, slowly building a name for himself. Then everything changed when a video of him performing his song 68 in the Woods went viral. It was just him, a guitar, and the truth, and people connected with it. That moment led to a deal with Atlantic Records, where he released songs like Wicked Ways and Cincinnati Heart. Both tracks showcase what makes Nolan's music work. Strong storytelling, emotion you can feel, and a voice that sounds lived in. In 2025, he released his debut full-length album, simply titled Nolan Taylor. It's a collection of everything he's been through. Heartbreak, love, family, and figuring life out one step at a time. OhGeesy. OhGeesy got his start in the LA rap scene as one of the original members of Shoreline Mafia, a group that blew up in the late 2010s with songs that mix party energy, street talk, and dark humor. Tracks like Musty and Bands helped them rack up streams fast and build a serious fan base online. While Shoreline Mafia took off, OhGeesy stood out for his smooth delivery, confident hooks, and sharp sense of style. After the group's 2020 project Mafia Business, he stepped out solo with his debut album Geezyworld in 2021. The project featured big names like DaBaby, YG, and A Boogie with the Hoodie, and showed that he could hold his own outside the group. A deluxe edition followed in 2022 with even more collabs. In 2023, he dropped Geezyworld 2, teamed up with Burner for Trophies, and kept the momentum going with more singles and visuals. He didn't slow down. In 2025, he came through with Paid in Full, another full-length packed with features from Saweetie, La Tyler, and more. OhGeesy's music is built on tight production, heavy bass, and catchy lines. Perfect for bumping in the car or setting the tone at a party. But there's a consistency in his work too, whether solo or as part of Shoreline Mafia. He stayed true to the sound that made him, while continuing to evolve on his own terms. Oliver Tree. Oliver Tree's career started with a viral moment. When I'm Down, his 2016 track with Weavin' blew up online and put him on the radar. That early success led to a deal with Atlantic Records and a string of offbeat singles like Hurt, Miracle Man, and Cash Machine, blending indie rock, electronic beats, and a little bit of hip-hop. His debut EP, Alien Boy, set the tone, and by the time he dropped his first full album, Ugly is Beautiful, in 2020, fans already knew to expect something different. The album pulled together his earlier singles and new tracks like Bury Me Alive and Let Me Down, all wrapped in his signature satirical style. But it wasn't just the music. Oliver Tree leaned hard into creating a whole character around the sound, with bowl cuts, scooters, and absurd music videos. In 2021, he teamed up with Little Big and Tommy Cash for the EP Welcome to the Internet. Then came Cowboy Tears in 2022, shifting his style slightly toward country-inspired melodies, but still keeping the sarcasm and punch. That same year, he scored a hit with Miss You, his collab with Robin Schulz. It marked a more dance-driven direction and cracked the Billboard Hot 100. By 2023, Oliver Tree was back with Alone in a Crowd, leaning into pop and electronic sounds while taking on a fictional fashion designer persona. It's weird, catchy, and exactly what you'd expect from someone who's always remixing the rules. Paolo Nutini. Paolo Nutini is a Scottish singer-songwriter from Paisley. He grew up around different styles of music, including jazz, soul, and folk. He moved to London as a teenager and signed with Atlantic Records at 18. His debut album, These Streets, came out in 2006 and included songs like Last Request, Jenny Don't Be Hasty, and New Shoes. It was influenced by folk and indie pop and became a success in the UK. In 2009, Nutini released his second album, Sunny Side Up. This one had more variety in the production. Some tracks leaned toward reggae and soul. It reached #1 in the UK and included the single, Candy. He followed it with a long tour and won Best Album at the Ivor Novello Awards. After a few years away from the spotlight, he returned with Caustic Love in 2014. The album had a more polished sound and included Iron Sky, a track that got a lot of attention for its message and vocal performance. It went to #1 in the UK again. In 2022, Nutini released Last Night in the Bittersweet. The album pulled from a wider range of influences, including post-punk and electronic textures, but still kept his usual focus on songwriting. It showed a different direction without leaving behind what people liked about his earlier music. Cauthen. Paul Cauthen didn't come into country music trying to fit in. He came in with his own sound. Deep, bold vocals, and a style that draws from gospel, rock, country, and soul. Raised in East Texas, Cauthen was surrounded by music from a young age. His grandfather, a songwriter who once ran with Buddy Holly's crew, taught him piano and passed down a love of traditional country and rock and roll. He first gained attention with the duo Sons of Fathers, but it was his solo debut, My Gospel, in 2016 that set him apart. The album was raw, honest, and full of conviction. A few years later, he dropped Room 41, written during a rough patch in his life. The music was darker, more intense, and introduced the disco country hybrid, cocaine country dancing, which earned him a new wave of fans. From there, Cauthen leaned further into bold, left-field production with Country Coming Down in 2022, which featured the satirical single, Country as Fuck. In 2024, he followed it up with Black on Black, an album that kept the energy high with tracks like Hot Damn, showing he wasn't done pushing the edges of what country can sound like. Cauthen doesn't fit the Nashville mold, and he doesn't try to. His records stand out because he knows what he wants to say and says it with volume, grit, and groove. Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty is a rapper from Memphis, Tennessee, known for his aggressive flow and steady rise through the southern rap scene. He started gaining attention in 2019 with tracks like Shiesty Summer and Breaking News, building a fan base through consistent online releases and local collaborations. His early work caught the attention of Gucci Mane, who signed him to 1017 Records in 2020. That same year, Pooh Shiesty appeared on Gucci's So Icy Summer label compilation with standout verses on Main Slime and Still Remember. He also dropped solo singles like Twerksome and Back in Blood featuring Lil Durk, a track that went viral and peaked at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 2021, he released his debut mixtape, Shiesty Season, which hit number 3 on the Billboard 200. The project included guest features from 21 Savage, Big 30, and Gucci Mane. Songs like Guard Up and Neighbors continued to grow his reputation, blending Memphis street rap with polished production. A deluxe version of the mixtape, Shiesty Season Certified, arrived in 2022 with more tracks and new features, including Gunna. Despite legal setbacks, Pooh Shiesty's music has maintained relevance online, and fans continue to stream his work while awaiting his return. His discography reflects his Memphis roots, hard-hitting beats, street-focused lyrics, and a clear connection to the city's rap legacy. Portugal the Man. Portugal the Man is an American band formed in 2004 in Wasilla, Alaska by John Gorley and Zach Carothers. They relocated to Portland, Oregon and released their debut album, Waiter, You Vultures, in 2006. The band quickly gained attention for their genre-shifting sound, blending psychedelic rock, pop, electronic, and hip-hop elements. By 2010, they signed to Atlantic Records and released In the Mountain in the Cloud, which marked their first entry on the Billboard 200. In 2013, they teamed up with producer Danger Mouse for the album Evil Friends, featuring songs like Modern Jesus and Purple, Yellow, Red, and Blue. Their biggest success came in 2017 with the album Woodstock and the Grammy-winning single, Feel It Still. The track hit number 1 on multiple charts and stayed on Billboard's Alternative Songs chart for a record-breaking 20 weeks. In 2020, they released a cover of Tomorrow from Annie, and in 2021 put out Oregon City Sessions. a live album recorded in 2008. Their 9th studio album, Chris Black Changed My Life, dropped in 2023. It was named in honor of a close friend and featured collaborations with artists like Black Thought and Unknown Mortal Orchestra. Outside of music, Portugal the Man founded the PTM Foundation, supporting indigenous communities and social causes. They've built a reputation for constant evolution, blending styles while staying committed to their roots and values. Quando Rondo. Quando Rondo, born Tyquan Terrell Bowman in 1999, is an American rapper and singer from Savannah, Georgia. He first gained major attention in 2018 with the single I Remember, featuring Lil Baby, followed by the platinum-certified track ABG. He began uploading music online in 2017, recording his early songs on a phone setup while still navigating legal troubles and time in juvenile detention. His breakout mixtape, Life Before Fame, dropped in April 2018, earning millions of streams in days. He followed that with Life After Fame, just months later. Known for blending trap beats with melodic vocals, Rondo's lyrics often explore personal struggles, street life, and emotional conflict. In 2019, he released From the Neighborhood to the Stage, featuring artists like Polo G and Shy Glizzy. That same year, he appeared on Billboard's Emerging Artists chart. His debut studio album, Kupak, arrived in 2020 and reached number 22 on the Billboard 200. He followed with Still Taking Risks in 2021 and the collaborative mixtape 3860 with Youngboy Never Broke Again in 2022. In 2023, he released his second album, Recovery, debuting at number 56 on the Billboard 200. He continued in 2024 with the introspective EP, Here for a Reason, In the Darkest Time. Quando Rondo is signed to Never Broke Again, an imprint of Atlantic Records. He remains known for his emotional delivery, melodic flow, and steady output of new music. Raiche. Raiche is an American R&B singer and songwriter originally from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. She first gained attention in 2016 with the EP Renditions, a collection of acoustic covers of artists like Norah Jones and Frank Ocean. By 2019, she released her original debut, the EP Drive, through genre-defining entertainment and Atlantic Records. Raiche grew up singing in church alongside her mother and siblings, later exploring music more seriously in high school talent shows and school plays. She began posting cover videos on Instagram and YouTube, eventually catching the attention of Boston-based producer DJ Knockout. With his support, her demos reached industry executives including Prince Charles and Atlantic Records chairman Craig Kallman. After siding with genre-defining entertainment and Atlantic, Raiche released Pick a Side, a song that became her breakout radio hit and later featured Ty Dolla $ign in a reworked version. In 2020, she contributed 2 tracks to the Atlantic holiday compilation, Still Home for the Holidays, appearing alongside artists like Trey Songz and Ty Dolla $ign. Her debut album, Loveland, arrived in December 2023. The 13-track project features production by Arab Music, Audio Anthem, and Tariq Beats, blending themes of love, identity, and emotional resilience. She's since performed at Coachella, appeared on BET and Billboard, and is slated to tour in 2024 alongside Aaron Ray. Currently based in Atlanta, Raiche continues to develop her sound and brand, with new music and creative projects underway. Ravyn Lenae. Ravyn Lenae Washington is an American R&B singer and songwriter from Chicago, Illinois. Born on January 22, 1999, she first gained attention in 2015 with her debut EP, Moon Shoes, released while she was still a student at the Chicago High School for the Arts. A founding member of the music collective Zero Fatigue, she collaborated early on with Monte Booker and Smino, helping shape a genre-blending sound rooted in alternative R&B, neo-soul, and ambient hip-hop. Her follow-up EP, Midnight Moonlight, arrived in 2017 and was followed by the Steve Lacy-produced Crush in 2018, which featured the breakout single, Sticky. Lenae's debut full-length album, Hypnos, was released in 2022. It featured contributions from Steve Lacy, K Trinata, Monte Booker, Fouché, and Mariba. The album was praised for its sonic depth and exploratory production, blending soft melodies with experimental soundscapes. In 2024, she released her second album, Bird's Eye, led by the hit single Love Me Not, which peaked at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. The album included guest appearances from Ty Dolla $ign and Childish Gambino, and introduced subtle influences of acoustic rock and reggae. Lenae has toured internationally and performed with artists such as SZA, No Name, and Sabrina Carpenter. Her style has been described as ethereal and genre fluid, influenced by artists like Outkast, Janet Jackson, Brandy, and Erykah Badu. As of 2025, she continues to be recognized as a leading voice in experimental R&B, noted for her vocal control, unique production choices, and evolving artistic identity. Raiche is an 18-year-old singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist from Liverpool, England. Known for his genre-blending sound, he mixes indie rock, bedroom pop, and elements of hip-hop to create emotionally resonant, highly melodic songs. His stage name is pronounced Raiche, and he's signed to Atlantic Records in partnership with Good Luck Have Fun. He began experimenting with music in early 2021 after discovering a teenage bedroom pop artist on TikTok. Inspired, he reached out, learned the basics of recording on Audacity using a Blue Yeti mic, and began uploading tracks of his own. Self-taught in songwriting and vocal production, Raiche quickly moved from making music as a hobby to building a fan base online. In 2022, he began consistently releasing singles. One of those songs, Teeth, You, unexpectedly went viral after he casually posted it on TikTok. It marked a turning point, confirming music could be more than just a passion. By then, his sound had evolved to include guitar, bass, and more intricate production, skills he developed entirely on his own. His singles Cabin Fever and Vampire further grew his following, leading to a collaboration with fellow all-pop artist Thanks So Much on the 2023 track Love Sick. The collaboration originated organically, trading beats, verses, and creative input online. That song became his first major label release. In 2024, Raiche released the single Eyebags, continuing his streak of emotionally direct pop music layered over rich, lo-fi textures. As his US fan base rapidly outpaces his following in the UK, he's now gearing up for his first American tour, opening for Thanks So Much across multiple cities. What started as a bedroom project in Liverpool has now become one of the most promising new acts in the alt-pop space, defined by a DIY approach, honest songwriting, and an ability to connect globally, one upload at a time. Rico Nasty. Rico Nasty is an American rapper, singer, and producer known for her explosive fusion of rap, punk, and metal, a style she coined Sugar Trap. Born Maria Cecilia Simone Kelly on May 7, 1997, in Largo, Maryland, she turned early personal struggles into a creative engine, building a career defined by bold visuals, genre-bending records, and uncompromising energy. She began recording music in high school, breaking out in 2016 with tracks like iCarly and Hey Arnold, which gained viral traction on SoundCloud. Her early mixtapes, The Rico Story, Sugar Trap, and Tales of Takabella, introduced her signature blend of playful aggression and melodic hooks. That same year, a remix of Hey Arnold featuring Lil Yachty expanded her audience, leading to her own placement on Mamacita from the Fast and Furious soundtrack. In 2018, Rico signed with Atlantic Records and released Nasty, a mixtape that solidified her mainstream arrival. She followed up with Anger Management in 2019, a joint project with producer Kenny Beats that showcased her dynamic range and experimental instincts. The project included contributions from Earth Gang and Bauer. Her debut studio album, Nightmare Vacation, dropped in 2020, featuring collaborations with 100 Gex, Amine, Gucci Mane, and Trippie Redd. It debuted at #1 on Billboard's Heat Seekers chart and was praised for its high-octane production and genre fusion. In 2022, she released the mixtape Las Reinas, expanding her sound further with industrial, electronic, and experimental influences. Collaborators included Marshmello, Fred Again, and BB Borelli. By 2024, she was already working on new material, teaming with Boys Noise on the EP Hardcore Dreams. In 2025, she released her third studio album, Lethal, led by singles like Teeth Sucker, On the Low, and Butterfly Kisses. Throughout her career, Rico Nasty has remained a genre disruptor, known for her brash delivery, punk-inspired aesthetic, and dedication to pushing sonic boundaries. Rob Thomas. Rob Thomas is a Grammy-winning singer, songwriter, and frontman best known for leading Matchbox 20 and for his chart-dominating collaboration with Santana on Smooth. Over a career spanning 3 decades, he's become a fixture of adult pop and rock radio, recognized for his clean melodic hooks and confessional songwriting. Born May 7, 1972 in Landstuhl, Germany, Thomas was raised in the American South by his mother, moving frequently before settling in Orlando, Florida. He dropped out of high school and briefly spent time in jail at 17 before turning to music full-time. His first serious band was Tabitha's Secret, which eventually evolved into Matchbox 20 in 1995. Their debut album, Yourself or Someone Like You, was released in 1996 and became a commercial phenomenon. With radio staples like 3AM and Push, the album sold over 12 million copies in the US alone. In 1999, Thomas co-wrote and sang Smooth for Santana's comeback album Supernatural. The song topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 12 weeks and earned 3 Grammy Awards. While continuing with Matchbox 20, Thomas launched a solo career in 2005 with Something to Be, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. He followed with successful solo projects like Cradle Song in 2009, The Great Unknown in 2015, and Chiptooth Smile in 2019. His blend of adult contemporary pop and introspective lyrics solidified his presence on AC Radio, where he holds multiple chart records. In 2021, he released his first holiday album, Something About Christmas Time, and reunited with Santana on the single Move. He followed with his 6th solo album, All Night Days, in 2025 under Universal Records. With over 80 million records sold, Thomas is one of the most successful songwriters of his era. Beyond his music, he's co-founder of the Sidewalk Angels Foundation, supporting animal welfare organizations across the U.S. From 90s alt-rock to 2020s adult pop, Rob Thomas remains a lasting voice in mainstream music, blending emotional storytelling with arena-sized hooks. Robin Schulz. Robin Schulz is one of Germany's most successful DJs and music producers, known for blending deep house, pop, and melodic electronic sounds into global chart-topping hits. Born April 28, 1987 in Osnabrück, Germany, Schulz began DJing at age 17 and developed his style in local clubs. By his early 20s, he was producing his own music and uploading remixes online, where his sound began gaining millions of views. His breakthrough came in 2014 with a remix of Waves by Mr. Probs, followed by his even bigger global hit, Prayer in C, a remix of French duo Lilywood and The Prick. The track reached #1 in over 40 countries. Later that year, he released his debut album Prayer, which featured both original songs and high-profile remixes. He followed up with Sugar in 2015, continuing his chart success with tracks like Headlights and the title track featuring Francesco Yates. Schulz quickly became a staple in the international dance scene. His 3rd album, Uncovered 2017, included collaborations with David Guetta, James Blunt, and Cheat Codes. By 2021, he had released I3, featuring hits like All We Got and One More Time. In 2023, his 5th album, Pink, included more global collaborations, this time with Dennis Lloyd, Oliver Tree, David Guetta, and Tom Walker. Known for his melodic, radio-ready production and consistent festival presence, Schulz has earned over 800 gold, platinum, and diamond certifications worldwide. He's played major festivals like Tomorrowland, Perucaville, and Ultra Music Festival, and holds a summer residency at Pacha Ibiza. As of 2025, Robin Schulz remains one of Europe's most streamed electronic artists, with more than 14 airplay #1s in Germany alone and a reputation for bridging underground house with mainstream pop appeal. Roddy Ricch. Roddy Ricch, born Roderick Wayne Moore Jr. on October 22, 1998 in Compton, California, is a Grammy-winning rapper, singer, and songwriter, best known for his melodic trap sound and introspective lyrics. Raised in Compton with family ties to Louisiana, Ricch started rapping at age 8 and producing music by 16. He first made waves in 2017 with his debut mixtape, Feed the Streets, and broke out a year later with Die Young, a viral hit, produced by London on the Track. The song earned platinum status and introduced his unique fusion of West Coast storytelling with Southern-influenced melodies. In late 2018, he released Feed the Streets 2, featuring tracks like Every Season and Down Below. That same year, Ricch collaborated with Nipsey Hussle and Hit Boy, or Racks in the Middle, which went on to win the Grammy Award for Best Rap Performance in 2020. He also appeared on Mustard's hit single Ballin', which further cemented his place in the mainstream. Ricch's debut studio album, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, dropped in December 2019 and debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. Its standout single, The Box, topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 11 weeks and became one of the most streamed songs of the year. In 2020, he earned his 2nd #1 hit as a feature on DaBaby's Rockstar. He followed up with Live Life Fast in 2021, debuting at #4 and featuring appearances from Future, Lil Baby, and 21 Savage. He released the EP Big 3 and the mixtape Feed the Streets 3 in 2022. In 2024, he returned with Survivor's Remorse, the first single from his upcoming 3rd album, The Navy Album. Now one of the leading voices in modern hip-hop, Roddy Ricch continues to shape the sound of melodic rap while navigating fame, family, and personal growth. Rosé. Rosé, born Roseanne Park on February 11, 1997 in Auckland, New Zealand, is a globally recognized singer, dancer, and member of the record-breaking K-pop group Blackpink. Known for her signature vocal tone and emotional delivery, she has built an international career that spans music, fashion, and film. Raised in Melbourne, Australia, Rosé began singing in church choirs and taking music lessons at a young age. In 2012, she auditioned for YG Entertainment and earned the top spot out of 700 applicants. She relocated to Seoul and began 4 years of rigorous idol training. In August 2016, Rosé debuted as the 4th member of Blackpink alongside Jisoo, Jennie, and Lisa. Their debut single album, Square One, included hits like Whistle and Boombaya, both of which topped the Billboard World Digital Song Sales Chart. The group quickly became one of the most successful girl groups in the world, breaking records across streaming platforms, award shows, and international charts. Rosé launched her solo career in March 2021 with her debut single album, R, featuring the lead track, On the Ground. The song broke Psy's record for the most YouTube views in 24 hours for a Korean solo artist. Her second solo track, Gone, also received widespread praise. In 2022, Blackpink returned with their second studio album, Born Pink. The album included Pink Venom and Shutdown, both international hits. Rosé also featured solo on the track Hard to Love. That year, Blackpink's Born Pink World Tour became the highest-grossing tour by a female group in history. Outside the group, Rosé contributed the 2024 theme song, Final Love Song, to the reality series I Land 2. In April 2024, she signed with the Black label and Atlantic Records. That October, she released her full-length solo debut album, Rosie, led by the Bruno Mars-assisted single, APT, which hit #1 in South Korea and landed in the Billboard Hot 100's top 10. With her growing influence in both music and fashion, Rosé continues to define the next generation of global pop stardom, balancing powerful performances, emotional storytelling, and a bold artistic vision. Well, that's a wrap on Part 5. If you've been following the journey, hit that like and subscribe so you don't miss the final part coming soon.